In this video, I'm taking a hard look at the war crimes committed in Gaza under Netanyahu's leadership, breaking down the staggering civilian death toll, the methods the Israeli military used, and the global push for justice. As of July 29, 2025, Gaza's health ministry reports over 60,000 Palestinians killed, and more than 145,000 wounded since the war began. Most of these victims? They're civilians, women, kids, the elderly. And that's just the official count. Independent researchers say the real number is likely even higher because so many bodies are still trapped under rubble, and chaos makes tracking impossible. International organizations warn Gaza is now facing famine-like conditions and outbreaks of disease, with hospitals and infrastructure basically wiped out. Let's talk about the people responsible. In November 2024, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The ICC accuses them of using starvation as a weapon, murder, persecution, and other crimes against humanity. Israeli rights groups like B'Tselem and Physicians for Human Rights Israel say what's happening in Gaza amounts to genocide, deliberate attacks on civilians, systematic destruction of medical care, and targeting essential infrastructure. So what methods did Israeli forces actually use? First, the blockade. Israel imposed a total siege on Gaza, cutting off food, water, fuel, medication, even electricity. The ICC calls this collective starvation a war crime under international law. But it gets worse. Airstrikes repeatedly hit protected sites, hospitals, maternity wards, schools, bakeries, refugee camps, and places where aid was being distributed. Thousands were killed, often while just trying to get food or shelter. UN observers and legal experts say these attacks show a pattern, ignoring rules meant to protect civilians in war. Then there's the torture and sexual violence. UN investigations confirm that Israeli forces committed systemic sexual and gender-based violence, rape, gang rape, sexualized torture, public force stripping, genital mutilation. These acts have been documented both in Gaza and in Israeli detention facilities. Amnesty, Human Rights Watch, and B'Tselem all report detention centers where torture is routine: beatings, stress positions, attack dogs, denial of medical care, even waterboarding. At least 53 detainees have died from this treatment. Let's break down the numbers. By June 30, 2024, independent researchers estimate over 64,000 deaths, 41% higher than the official Gaza tally at the time. Children and the elderly make up almost 60% of the dead. In fact, at least half of the victims are women and kids. Look at the Flower Massacre. 118 people killed waiting for food aid, or 28 killed when a school shelter was bombed, or over 70 killed during forced evacuations. These aren't just numbers, they're families, lives wiped out. Around the world, outrage is growing. B'Tselem and Physicians for Human Rights Israel are demanding urgent international action. The ICC's lead prosecutor says there's reasonable evidence of genocide, especially through starvation tactics and destroying reproductive health. The UN has submitted thousands of pieces of evidence to the courts, covering everything from forcible transfers to extermination and gender-based crimes. What's happening in Gaza isn't just war, it's a crisis of humanity, law, and conscience. The death toll keeps rising and calls for accountability are louder than ever. Let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe if you want more in-depth coverage like this.